Hi, Jenny.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. I'm in my third state for this hackathon.
Oh, no joke.
Yeah, I started in actually it's in my like fifth location.
Wow. I
Started
didn't
off in
realize you were traveling.
Syracuse, New York. Then I moved to Vermont. Now I'm in New Hampshire.
Oh my goodness. You're making quite the tour.
Yeah, I'm making my way towards a lobster roll.
Oh my gosh, I love lobster rolls.
Yeah.
Only recently discovered those this past summer. I'm never going to be the same.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Louisiana, but my fiance's family lives in the Northeast, and we went to uh, Provincetown last
Yeah.
summer for vacation, and that's where I had a lobster roll.
Oh yeah, P-Town. That's kind of a wild zoo out there.
Oh, it was. It was. It gave New Orleans a run for its money.
Yeah, pretty fancy. Okay, I won't disturb you.
I've got a few things to do.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Morning, Jenny. How's it going?
Good morning, Doug. I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good morning.
Morning, Dave.
How are you guys?
Doing well, thank you. Morning, Melissa.
has anybody with Zoom figured out how to separate the screen sharing part from the pictures part? Because when there's screen sharing, it'd be nice to have the pictures on a separate screen.
I just have my one little laptop at home.
You just have one little laptop. You don't have 1, 2, 3 screens.
I usually have 2 screens, but in the backyard, I just have one. So
Oh, you're in the backyard.
I need to
Dave,
build
I
that.
logged in early to
better-
send you those links that you were interested in yesterday. They're in the chat box.
Were you talking to me or to somebody else?
To you.
I'm not seeing anything in the chat. You might have sent it before I logged,
Okay.
which is funny because else what would have
It was, I put them to you privately. Maybe that was a problem.
yesterday or today?
Just now.
There we go. Okay, I got it.
Yep.
I'll have to do some editing because they're blended together.
Want me to space them?
No, I can make spaces and things.
It turns out that the Swiss Federal Institute on Snow has quite well-developed products for snow energy balance and thermodynamics.
Yeah.
Very nice slides.
So is this is probably all Mikhail Lenik at Davos. Is that where it is?
Oh yeah, I call that Davos.
Davos. Okay, right. Well, I don't know how to pronounce it. At Davos, yeah. Well, I'm not going to pull up those YouTubes now. I'll sort of start transmitting the sound.
Yeah, you might want to look at them later. I think that they're between the introductory stuff material that you wrote for the beginning of UEB.
Okay.
And those slides, it'll make a really good component.
Okay. Good. So Jenny, are we agreed on the slides after my last minute changes?
Yes.
And they're in the fellows folder,
Yes, I've already put them
the
up.
ones we're going to use? Okay.
Mhm.
And you want me to present slides 8 through 13? Is that it?
Let me double check. Yep, that's it.
Morning, everyone. Welcome back to day 7 of the hackathon. We're going to go and get started, get right into it. So today in the first session, we're going to look at intellectual property and then also organizing your content. So we're going to discuss intellectual property considerations, how you might choose a Creative Commons license for your module, recognizing the need to determine the data usage policies for any data sources you integrate into your module, and then also thinking about how to break up your instructional content into more manageable chunks within your module. So Jenny posted this, so I'm going to unshare so she can show you the results from this, but this is the wake up sort of check-in prompt for today. Jenny, will you be able to share the results for this?
Yes. There we go.
Awesome. How do you make your response come out big?
It's multiple people responding the same thing.
Oh,
We run on coffee
okay.
and beer in this group. And weddings.
Okay.
What is this? Caparina?
Brazilian cocktail.
Hmm.
Kind of like a margarita.
That's better.
I see what this is
Agree.
work.
I think it might had to be one of those coffees.
Yep.
Who put running?
I assume that was you.
Pardon?
I assume that was you.
No, it wasn't me. I put stamina and then it's only Tuesday.
I think Mira put that.
Oh, Josh and Mira are runners.
Oh, good. Well, when we've had enough fun, do you want me to add intellectual property to that mix and get going, or how long should we go with this?
I'm not sure. It seems to still be changing. It seems we almost have everybody checked in, at least. All right. So there we have it, folks. We run on sunshine, coffee, beer, biking, and running.
I spammed you with sunshine. But the maximum allowed is I think 8 responses.
We had sunshine spanned.
Okay. So as Doug mentioned, we were going to be talking about some of the intellectual property considerations that you need to be aware of when putting together your modules. It's always good to sort of focus on the content and focus on the learning, but recognizing authorship, giving credit, and using information appropriately is something we have to pay attention to. I sort of framed this in the context of a question that was also one of the questions that Joe asked. I guess I'm answering all of Joe's questions and making these presentations because yesterday we added the compute capability in response to a question. But if the question is, I would like to use data in my module, but I'm concerned it's not my data to share, then what? And so you're effectively encountering the tension between multiple elements in our work. Open data is one idea that holds that data is paid for by the taxpayer dollars should be open to all. The reward for putting your data out there would be the satisfaction of feeling charitable and receiving gratitude. An opposing perspective would be the intellectual property one, where you say, my ideas are mine to patent, copyright, and profit from, and it's the way of the US capitalist economy works, and money is my reward. And we don't want to dismiss that too much because nothing actually comes for free. So intellectual property is what generates the revenue that keeps a lot of things going. Then sort of in between is credit. It's a lot of work to create data. Recognition and reputation is my reward, and this applies in academics. So you might have requirements, please cite me and or include me as a co-author. So recognizing all of this, how does it matter for our modules? And we have to recognize that it applies to the content that we may use from somebody else, and or data that we may include, and or videos that we may include, and or figures that we may include. And really the bottom line is, for content you get from someone else, you have to respect and abide by the conditions they have set in making it available. The problem is that it's often not specified or hard to find out. Somebody just puts something on the internet and doesn't say, oh, this is Creative Commons license, you're free to use it. They may say, please cite me. They may say, donate to my GoFundMe account. There's lots of different options, and finding out what the conditions are can sometimes be a challenge. So at least when you're putting information on the internet, a best practice is to assign a license to any work so that others who want to use it know basically the rules to follow. So there are a number of ways information can be distributed, and I'm just drawing attention here to Creative Commons licenses, which are a common and a standard way to grant permission to use creative work under copyright law. So it answers the question, what can I do with this work? And there's actually 7 options. If you really want to know more, you probably should know more, is go to the creativecommons.org website to read what is said there. But if you just want to put your content out there and let anybody use it however they wish, you could put it in the public domain, or referred to as the Creative Commons Zero license, dedicates the work into the worldwide public domain, and you've relinquished any control. Or you can say, I want a Creative Commons by license, and that means you have to give credits. So anybody can reuse the content that you've published, but they should give credit to say that, oh, this is where I got it from. That's a common practice, and I think all of the defaults, well, the lowest level of protection that HydroLearn will allow is to put CC by. HydroLearn doesn't actually have the option to put something in public domain. And that's just because it's inherited content from, or it's inherited its approach from EDX. Sometimes people will say that the concept of giving credit can become unwieldy, because if you've pulled data from thousands of data sources, just to have to even list them all can become difficult. And then now you may have you may aggregate data from data aggregators, and it can become overwhelming. There's also licenses where you might say, okay, I'm putting this information out, anybody can share it, but they should give me credit, and anything that they do with it should also be shared under the same conditions. So that's referred to as share alike. You can limit things to being commercial or non-commercial, and you can also limit whether people are allowed to make derivatives. In other words, change what you've got. So there's a number of options there. This is just talking about how you can do that. How you can do it in HydroLearn. You can set the license at the bottom of the schedule and details page, and there attribution is currently always selected. So currently that option is required. You can pick non-commercial or no derivatives or share alike from the Creative Commons, or you could click on all rights reserved, and then if somebody wanted to use it, they would have to get permission. And then I just put a couple of things here. Attribution is nice, but can become unwieldy. So on my modules, I actually just go with the CC BY. Well, I go with CC BY because I have to go with that. But if I did not have to require attribution, I would probably do that, because it can be a burden on people if you want to encourage use. And then there's also at least a little bit of ambiguity in my mind as to whether one should check the non-commercial box or not. You may think, oh, well, it's nice to say that if you only want to license it for non-commercial users, and others might need to, if a big company comes along, maybe they have to negotiate with you and you can share their profit. But what happens if it's a university that charges tuition? Is that commercial or non-commercial? So for that reason, because anything that I put out on HydroLearn, I uncheck that, because I want to let even perhaps commercial universities or companies use it if they see value in it. So I put this slide up there as a data example to discuss, because this came out of the question that Joe asked, where they wanted to put Ameriflux data in the HydroLearn module. And the question was, first, how can I embed data and code into the module? And am I allowed to do it because it's Ameriflux data? So here you need to go and actually see that associated with Ameriflux, they have a data policy that is actually quite long. And if you're using somebody else's data, you have an obligation to see what they've said about it. So here they say that the data should be properly acknowledged, and that data contributors should have the opportunity to make an intellectual contribution to the papers that use the data as a result. So they therefore had research in mind. If you're putting together a HydroLearn module, how might you comply with that? It's probably quite easy to acknowledge that you got the data from Ameriflux, but do you actually have to then approach the contributors and say, okay, here I'm learning it, I'm using it in HydroLearn, and see if they have any good ideas. That could slow you down a lot, but it might actually result in some good ideas because they've actually created the data. On the right here, it says that you have to list each site, and you have to inform all data providers when the publication is about to be published. So listing each site separately with Ameriflux, if you are using many of them, might be challenging. And the notification requirement is also somewhat challenging. And then at the bottom, they say that this is part of the Department of Energy's science statement, where they really emphasize that sharing, preserving the data is central to the integrity of science. And they want to have the data shared to the greatest extent and with the fewest constraints possible. So you sort of have to become a little bit of armchair lawyers as you work through this. Educational use is not mentioned. Only research reuse is addressed. There may be inconsistencies between what's at the beginning here, where you have to have acknowledgements and fewest constraints possible at the end, and you have to do your best to abide by it. So it's for some of these complexities that I actually like to encourage using a standard license such as Creative Commons rather than making up your own, which was done in the case of Ameriflux here. I'll pause there in case there's any questions. Maybe I should look at the chat. There have been 6 chat messages. No questions about this. Okay, so then in your HydroLearn modules, we want to encourage that you provide some recommended citation. And this is to address the need that if somebody else is actually using one of your modules, they can give credit and properly cite it. So there are recognized style guides for citing information on the internet, and APA, which is the American Psychological Association, is a widely used standard that follows the sort of first year, last, I mean, the author name, last, and then first, followed by year, followed by the title, followed by the publisher, and then a URL. So the Beaubassin module would be cited in this way, and you may include it somewhere in HydroLearn. We haven't actually worked out a standard way of doing it. With Beaubassin, Emad put it here under course adaptation. Another option is putting it on the about page, or perhaps the bottom of the summary page or something like that. I think that was all that I had in these slides to cover. Somebody else is going to do the rest.
I have a quick question on the slide that shows the Creative Commons licenses and then what we have to choose in HydroLearn. I just wanted to make sure that I understood it correctly.
Okay.
So on HydroLearn, we ask that all the modules are shared and reusable. That's basically the CC BY, or?
So, right, so in HydroLearn, you have this at the bottom of the schedule and details page.
Right.
Where
so how is that related to the previous slide? Which one of the previous slide I'm checking? Actually.
So this is equivalent to CC BY NC.
Okay. Right. So basically, I'm giving people the right to reuse my content
for non-commercial
as long as they
uses.
give credit, and as long as they don't make money out of it, right?
Right.
But you can uncheck that box on non-commercial.
You can uncheck that box, and you could, for example, check the share alike box.
Okay.
And if you check the share alike box, then you would get the CC BY SA, which means that if somebody uses it, they also have to share it under these rules. Or you can just uncheck all of the boxes over here, in which case you get the just the CC BY, which means they can use it any way they like, but should give credit.
Okay, thank you.
Good. I think if there's no questions, we're going to go on to Emad. If you want to share your part, Emad.
Sure, yeah. And this is very brief, actually. It's just a kind of reiterating or emphasizing some of what we discussed yesterday on how to organize your content. So we already talked about some of that yesterday, but I just wanted to reiterate it. And let me show you here the screen. So we basically recommending that you try to break down the content that you have into smaller pieces, not too small, but also do not end up with one section that is humongous to the point that it will kind of make it boring to the student and also difficult to find the specific content. And I grabbed here 2 examples. I'm talking about the background information section or the content that goes before the learning activity. So I grabbed 2 examples, one from 2 modules. One on the left side here where I just have everything under background. And when I checked it out, actually it's a pretty long section. And this is a different module that I worked on more recently. And I found that this used to be a background section. I broke it down into smaller piece here, one that talks about infiltration concepts, and then the green amp method. Then there's an example before I get to the learning activity. You know, previously all that used to sit under one long section called background. And I found this to be a better practice because if the student want to go back and look for green amp, they at least can see it instead of it being hidden under one big section on titled background. And you know, sometimes if it's just a small section, well, it is a small section, there's no reason to break it apart. But it also helped me organize the content a little better when I was developing it, rather than being just one huge section like that. I also asked Viviana and Manuela to show a good example also on how they did the learning activity. In my examples here, all learning activities are just one page. You know, the way I structured the module is just one piece and it contains everything together. But when I looked at their example, they did a little better. So I asked them if they can show how they did. And I think some of you already did that the way they did also, but we can look at that together. Viviana, do you want me to share your screen, share a screen for you? Or you want
Sure, can you hear me fine?
We can. Do you want me to share this screen for you?
I can, either way, I can share mine.
Yeah,
but,
go ahead, that's easier.
I cannot share, okay. Let me see. Okay, so this is our module. Some of you have never seen this before, but it's all about using satellite observations for hydrologic applications. So we have the typical introduction, some background on satellite remote sensing, and then we have this big section, which is about the temporal dimension of satellite data. And the way we built the activity, the learning activity here, which is one of those authentic tasks, really, you need to go through the entire section before you can look at the activity and complete it. So, so basically it's one subsection, I think, that's what we call it. And then we created some units here. So we have an introduction where we included a summary, what to submit. So this is basically the Word file that they will have to send us. And we also added a template that they can download. And then we have the rubric right here. And then we have the next step. Actually, I could have shown it from here, maybe. Okay, introduction is what I just showed you. So summary, what to submit, and the rubric. And then if they go to the next, they have a couple of videos that they will have to watch to have some background on terrestrial water storage, which is the kind of data that they will have to analyze for this activity. So this is basically their resources page. We also added a couple of links and this is just a reference to a paper. It's a Nature paper, so I don't think it's available online, but most of our students will have access through the university library. And then we're saying that they should have some basic knowledge of some kind of software, whatever they want. And then the next page is really about all the instructions. So here it's like step by step what they have to do. And we included as an iframe the tool that they will need to use. So basically they can just go and click on the point of interest to look at some trends, some time series, some analysis that they will have to do as well. And I think that's it. That's the end of the learning activity. So yeah, that's the next section already.
Thank you, Viviana. I think the idea here is that you try to build these things in modular components. It makes it easy for you, for the developer, and also it makes it easier for the consumer to navigate for the information. I don't know if you guys have any questions or any comments or any other examples that you have come up with that or tips or strategies that you found useful when you were developing your module. Please feel free to share them.
To jump in and say that I've seen people breaking up the learning activities in lots of different ways. And so I like what Viviana and Manuela did there, but that's not the only right way to do it. If that works for your module, that's great. And other people are breaking them up in different ways. I'm wondering if Freddie or Sam would be interested in sharing the way they broke up their learning activities, to put you on the spot.
Yeah, definitely we can do that. Freddie, are you there?
I'm here. I'm just having trouble moving my hands this morning.
Yeah, let me see if we can actually, let me go to our Hydro Learn. And yeah, we can actually do that. Let me, Freddie, please.
No, go ahead. I'm just publishing something so it'll be visible.
Oh, actually, you know what? If you have it already open, let's go with your page.
Well, I have the urban water demand one open, but did you want to show the other? Sorry, we didn't have this planned at all.
We can, let me see. I think this is going to be just an overview.
Yeah, you want to show the overview?
Yeah, and so basically what you're seeing here is our module. And basically the module starts, so it has the overall idea of this module is to show students how to develop a water plan. So it goes from A to C, how to develop a water plan. And in order to develop a water plan, you need to have certain introduction, then the water budget components, then water management strategies, identify some water quality and ecological impacts. After this, it will come the economics, and then the capstone or the capstone project, which it will be a My Water Plan. And in this case, what we're doing is at the end of each subsection, we have these water plan summary assignments where you provide the introduction of the specific region and so on, and then they have to write an overview of the specific, in this case, the case study, characterize Pájaro Valley. This is, you're gonna be working with Pájaro Valley. These are some of the resources that you can use for Pájaro Valley. This is a note in terms of plagiarism and how to prevent plagiarism, and then some of the instructions that they should include in this specific summary section, and then go on with the rubric. And this will be the same for components of the water budget. And then we have, similarly, like in the introduction, we have a water plan summary task. Here it will be the same. And basically in this one, it is something similar. they start developing this water plan update. What do we expect on this specific section? So each subsection is wrapped up about a summary report. And at the end, the sum of all the summary reports and some discussion at the end will be the water plan. And basically this is how we've been discussing this. In terms of the specific content, what Ahmad was mentioning is basically that, so for instance, for this water budget, we have urban water demand, agricultural water demand. Here is missing environmental water demand, water supply, and then water budgets and so on. So basically that's what we have in here. And within each of these, we have a urban background, check your understanding. And this one will have indoor water use, outdoor water use per capita, estimated population. So that's how we have arranged this project. And I think perhaps, Melissa, here the key comment to mention here is that we made it in a way that each section and each subsection is each subsection is a small piece or a small bite that we can actually do. But basically that's what we've been doing here. We have these kind of bite sections. And as we are doing all these bite sections, at the end of a subsection, we have a summarized exercise. And at the end of the entire model, we have an overall summarized exercise. Freddie, any other comment or something that I've missed?
I don't think so. I wish we had one of the activities completed to show. They're all in pieces right now. Mm-hmm. The only thing I would add is that one of the things that we've been thinking about is making sure that the little pieces could be used as a standalone, so that if you wanted to only use one of these bits and not go through the whole module, you'd be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a quick question to Freddie and Sam?
Yes.
Pretty cool model. I'm probably gonna borrow it or ask you for help during the fall, since I'm teaching that class. Quick question: so I see that you have I guess your case study on the Pajaro Valley. Is the whole module developed around that same case study? Okay.
Yeah. And we have divided perhaps yes, it is divided around Pajaro Valley, but we divided more of the theoretical background.
Okay.
And that will be the check your understanding assignments. And then when we actually go into the nitty-gritty details of the case of a study, then we have the submit a graph, submit a summary, or submit a table, discuss this, which is more associated with the data.
Okay.
So if you want, you can actually kind of grab only the conceptuals or theory, mm-hmm. and then build your own case underneath.
Pretty cool.
And I should also say, one of the things that's been taking us a while is we've been, with an eye towards accessibility, trying to convert a lot of this into open source methods. So we've been trying to see how much of it we can do in Google Sheets. So that's been a little time consuming because that isn't the way this was done before. But hopefully when that's completed, that will mean that anyone could pick it up and do it anywhere.
And then the other part that I should mention that we have received feedback, and so we did start it really from the end, and that was kind of lucky, but at the same time it was a little bit painful because we started from the water plan. Mm-hmm. And if you start thinking of what are the pieces of a water plan, then actually you can back engineer or backtrack what are the specific pieces that you need to build that plan.
I see.
So that has been good, but the reality is that it has been, we have had a lot of discussions of the content. And then once we have that content, then we start kind of thinking back, what are the pieces that we need? This took us like at least 2 or 3 days to actually kind of come up with something good. And now we're trying just to finish one subsection.
Sam, I have a comment, maybe a suggestion. I like the structure very much. It's kind of, you know, it leads the learner into the process. I was thinking that you may want to include at the very beginning of the module, like a diagram explaining the structure of the module. And I'll share here something very quickly that you can probably get an idea from. This is something that David and Madeline again developed early on for the dry canyon module. So they developed a diagram like that, showing section 1, section 2, section 3, how they relate to each other. You know, I don't know if you can see from here. Maybe I can make it. Right? It's sorry, I'm going there. You know, but you see the screen here, right? So it's just an idea to show how you flow through the module, especially you have a unique structure, I guess. Yeah, so just something to consider. And actually, it helps for all modules to have a simple diagram like that you can create in PowerPoint or something. You know, it's not too difficult to do actually.
So Ahmad, we already have working in each subsection. We are creating a diagram. I'm not sure if you have it open, Freddie.
I do actually. It's open, and but
yeah,
I can't share. Let me share to show you.
Yeah.
The one we made is open.
Yeah.
I think that is the right thing. So the one that we made one for the population water demand activity, and this is I was writing this last night, so it's still fragments, but this is just for this first activity. So there's a little flow. What would be really nifty, which we talked about but haven't created, is as they go through and do each piece, they could see the little piece that they've done. So when they're doing the first part with the 2 different regressions on population, this little piece of the analysis, there's a graphic with this highlighted or in color, or maybe just this cut out. But we didn't make one for the entire unit, which is actually a really good idea. So more work, yay.
But if you have the smaller pieces, you can always add them up. But sure, yeah, this is really great. I like that structure very much. And
just
you know,
one last comment.
Yeah, another suggestion. I'm sorry, Melissa or Doug, if I'm taking too much, but you know, the title of the module, when you said develop a water plan, that caught my attention more than sustainable water management. So I don't know if you know, I want to learn how to develop a water plan. Well, yeah, and then I will learn about sustainability as well. So sometimes a catchy title is what's going to get people to look at your module.
Just the one last comment here. So students are developing a water plan, and at some point they develop their own water strategies, their water management strategies. So we show them how to develop a baseline, then one water conservation, and then they develop their own. And as they are developing their own, we provide at least some basic data so they can build their own. Then when they are putting their plan, we're thinking actually to include or to have students at the end that choose different water plan strategies to work together into developing a plan and then ranking their associated strategies. So that has been one. Also, we've been thinking role playing in the last activity, which will be each of them coming from the agriculture, NGO, government agency, civil society, or the city folks, and then trying to come up with a strategy. And then the other one, we've been also thinking to have or to host one of the, or to record actually the agency that managed this basin, and to provide a description of what is, how they do it. And if this is alive in a class, have the discussion, half of it for the water agency and half for the student to have back and forward questions about the plans that they are putting together or the strategies. This might be an illusion or a delusion, but we're working there.
It always starts with an illusion in our minds before we make it reality. So that's great. Now, this is exciting. I like it. Yeah, thank you.
All right, so I think that's it from our side. We're going to be sending all of you off to work on your teams until we regroup again this afternoon. So we wanted you to think about your check out your modules content license at the bottom of the summary and details, and just think about providing those proper citations to all images, videos, articles in your module. And then so we'll regroup again at the times that we do later in the afternoon, as noted there. Any final words from the team before we send them off?
I just wanted to say that I really like the two different ways that Sam and Freddie's group and Viviana and Manuela's group have broken down the learning activities, and I wanted to share both of those with you, or we wanted to share both of those with you, so you could see that there's not one right way to set up the learning activity. So hopefully those will give you some inspiration, or I know there's lots of other creative things happening out there as well. And today we also tried to wrap it up a little early to honor your wishes to have more time with your partners. So here's your gift of 50 extra minutes. All right, I'm going to open the rooms now, and if you have any questions, feel free to hang out. Willie, I know your question didn't get answered, so if you want to hang out, we're happy to answer that for you. So Willie, you were asking about the third outline level being units.
Yes, that's what it is. The third outline. That's what it is, correct?
That's just what edX calls that level.
All right. Yeah, all I've been doing was 2 levels, and then I saw these outlines with 3 levels, and I thought, okay, so now the question is, for consistency, should all of them have 3 levels, or can we have some with just 2 levels and some with 3?
The only place to put text is at the unit level. You can't put text at the section or subsection level.
Well, I've been creating subsections, and everything is just under subsection, and there's nothing divided.
Yeah, I can look with you, Willie, in your specific module. I think you have units. You'll have to have units. You're just not aware that these are units.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I would help. Yeah, that would be nice, because I'm not getting that third section in the outline view.
I'll come to your room and we can talk about it there, so that you can see your right. I'm not sure if Melissa, you send me to.
I just moved you, so you'll be in the room with
Thank you.
Willie.
Thank you. I'll see you in the other room.
Okay.
Hey, Hillary, did you have a question?
Yeah, I had a tech question about subtitles on videos. I don't know if you can help me. So maybe, can I just share my screen? Is that okay? And then I can show you.
Sure. Jenny, do you want to turn on your video too?
So yeah, I was experimenting with recording a video yesterday to show, it's like a screen capture with a commentary to show students what they're doing in this exercise. So I uploaded it via YouTube, and I put the captions on YouTube, and then when I uploaded this video, it came through and said edX can see the transcript on YouTube, and it uploaded it. So you can see it down the side nicely here. But when I click preview and look at the preview, then the captions just disappear and you don't see them. And it's the same if you look in the published. So I was just wondering how I can get the captions to appear even in the preview or the published version.
Did you use an iframe?
I clicked on the advanced and then the add video. So I used this one.
You need to put it in an iframe, I think.
Well, but it should work like that. I mean, that's the whole point of it. Hillary, why don't you give us some time to work on this? Because that seems like it should have worked.
Yeah, it seemed like it should have worked to me as well, but it didn't. So I thought I'd come and ask.
Yeah, no, great question. Why don't you join Joanne and work on something else, and we will.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you. That's weird, right? That should work.
Yeah, I don't know why it didn't work that. Yeah, I don't know why it didn't work that one time, but I'll say we know for sure that the iframe is our workaround in instances that video component is not picking up transcripts.
It is, but we've told everyone that they can do it both ways, and edX should allow it to be done both ways. And if people have been posting it using the video component, then I don't want to make them all redo it for iframes if we can. Like, is this, I wonder if IDA's is showing up like that as well.
I have a question. Who's in 17?
Oh, 17 is just a catch-all room.
Okay.
I wasn't sure where you wanted to go. Sorry.
It's okay. Doesn't matter. Hold on, let me pull up my document here.
Laura, are you there?
Who's that? Me?
Yeah.
Laura.
Maybe if she could give us access to her module, then we could like look around in it and see. I don't think
she's one of your assigned fellows, so I thought you might have access. And if you don't, then I do. But I don't know the name of her module. I was wondering if you did.
Right, let's see. Okay, is that the
So I just got called to a breakout room, so I'm gonna go there and help. Yeah. Right. Text me if you need me.
Sure.
Do you remember what section of the module it was in?
No, I sure don't.
Okay, I'm gonna dig around and maybe I can see why it okay. Why it's not showing up right there. I actually didn't look at the transcript with that. She said she used the advanced component, correct?
No, just the video component.
Okay. I don't know why it's not, whenever she was, I don't know why it's not showing up.
I wonder if it's because it was it was her own video she uploaded in a transcript that was created for her. I don't know if that makes a difference or not.
Mm-hmm.
Melissa, what was the title of Ida's module? I can check her work.
That's what I was just looking for. I cannot remember. So I have to send Dave a text, but then I can dig. It might be in her email. She's also at Bradley University, so I was gonna, isn't she? Or no, she's at Kansas State. So I was gonna look for KSU and the
Found it. It's hydrogeology.
And Melissa, no rush, but when you can send me to Adam, is Adam here too? No rush though.
Yeah, Adam and Kieran are here today.
Kieran is here, but I don't think Adam is. I was just in Kieran's room and he was by himself.
Oh. Adam was here.
I guess maybe send me back to Freddie and Sam.
Okay, I can do that. There you go, Doug.
Thank you.
Melissa, do you want to pause the recording so we don't have to trim all this? I'm going to resume recording so we don't forget to do it later.
quiz functionality again you're looking for? It's not the reset button? Or it is the
Apparently
reset
not.
button?
It's not really clear to me what he was thinking about. And I need to look at a quiz to see. Laura, I'm looking at Bobasin, of course. I don't even see a reset button. Let me do this maybe.
So I see it's like you have to, in the settings, you can edit. Oh, sorry, maybe not. You hit edit and then settings, and then you scroll down and it says show reset button, and you see how it says false.
Oh, okay.
And you hit true. And then it's like it comes up on the side of the hint as a little reset option. Is that what you were looking for, Ren?
I don't think Zuri was looking for that one. That's more like after maximum attempt, you can hit that button and that resets everything,
The whole
right?
problem, yeah.
I think what he wants to do was just wanting to like limit. He didn't want like students to randomly answering quizzes, so I think just putting the maximum attempt and no reset button would do. But anyway, I'll keep on playing with that one. But pretty much that's all we have, right? In terms of like resetting.
I need to refamiliarize myself with this stuff. I mean, that appears to be it. I can look in the edX documentation and see if there's something we can turn on.
Nah, I don't think it's worth doing that. So. We can just tell him set the number of maximum attempts, and that will do.
And it was for checkboxes specifically?
Yeah.
And not any other type?
You didn't mention.
No, that's fine. I don't know.
Should be okay. I wouldn't invest more time on this one. So yeah. I'll work on it. So don't worry about it.
Oh, I forgot to broadcast a message. I'll give him 2 minutes.
I'm back here because I had a departmental meeting until now. So I'm
Perfect
just
timing.
back to the meeting.
I'm going to assign you to your room, but you don't obviously need to join.
Nope, I'll hop in. Kitchen here.
And yeah.
Hacker Olson. Okay. I memorize everyone in pairs. Lines here. Melissa, I'm gonna pass the power to you so you can do content groups while I do tech update.
That sounds great.
All right, so it looks like everybody's back. All right, so before I hand you over to Doug to send y'all off for your evening content groups, or afternoon, depending on where you are, I have a tech update. We had a question earlier from Hillary about transcripts not showing up in her when she was using a video component. So specifically, she was linking a YouTube video and she wanted to see the transcripts along the bottom, and for whatever reason, they were not showing up. So we did a little digging and some problem solving, and we've come up with some solutions. So if you found that you've been adding your videos and your video components and your transcripts are not showing up, this is how you can solve that. So inside of the video component, you can make sure that the transcript is downloaded. If there's not a transcript found, this has an X mark, go back, and it's red, and I think it just says no time transcript or something like that. However, if it's a YouTube video, you can click this button and it will upload it for you automatically, and then this changes to a check mark so you know that you're good. If it's a video of your own making, and I believe if you upload it to YouTube, it will make transcripts for you. However, if you don't go that route and you want to upload your own transcripts, you can do that using this button here. And also within the video component, next to the basic tab, there's one that says advanced. So when you click on advanced, there's two things in there that you need to look for. One of them is to download the transcript aloud, set that to true, and then also set showing the transcript to true. Now I did all of these things, and I'm a Chrome user. For whatever reason, I still could not see the time transcripts. So after a little bit more digging, I figured out I needed to allow cookies on the HydroLearn websites in order to see the time transcript along the bottom of the screen. So if you do all of these things and it doesn't work, go search your cookies. And you need to add these two websites, studiohydrolearn.org and edxhydrolearn.org. And if none of that works, email your tech guide, because we're amazing and we solve all the problems. I may have potentially oversold us on that. So let me, I wish I had a video component pulled up for you. I was excited on that. So if anyone wants to direct me to one of their modules where they have a video component, I can do that right now to see if you're all set and to show everyone an example. So if anyone wants to step up. Okay.
IDA is the hydrogeology.
That's what I was just trying to remember the name of her module. All right. I'm going to stop sharing the screen momentarily in the hopes that this will load a bit faster. So give me just a moment. So this is actually Ida's module that she showed us on Friday. And in here she has two videos embedded in a video component. And I'll show you those settings I was talking about. Thank you. So this is the video component. When I go to click edit, you'll see the two tabs I was talking about, basic and advanced. Within the basic, this is where you would find the default time transcript, which is easily transferred from YouTube into this component. And when you click advanced, you need to set this to true. So downloading the transcript should be allowed, and you need to click show transcript as well. And if all of the stars are aligned, your videos will show up with the time transcript that goes along the bottom. So, yep, you need to play. So,
Is almost
just like this. All right. So that was it for my tech update.
Jenny, can I ask a follow-up question?
Yes, and I already know what you're going to ask me.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you what I was trying to achieve. But yeah, you.
So you wanted this to run alongside your video. So you wanted your EDX to look like what you see in Studio.
Yeah.
I've already sent an email to our developers to see if this is possible. So once I get an answer, I will come back to you with that.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem, Hillary. All right, do y'all have any more questions?
All right, thanks, Jenny. So what we're going to do is send you into your content groups, and we'd like you to choose one aspect of your module that you worked on today, and perhaps you're having difficulty with it, or you're particularly proud of some aspect of that module or that part of the module. And that's what we'd like you to share out with your content groups and give each other feedback on that. So I think we're set up to send you there unless there's any questions before we send you off. All right.